Christopher Nolan's masterpiece, The Dark Knight, has the tendency to leave its viewers entertained, but unsettled. Critics and audiences alike are mesmerized and repulsed by what the Joker does and for what he stands for, a representation of the Hobbesian war of every man against every man, where self-preservation reigns supreme. Heath Ledger's Academy Award-winning performance, combined with the brutal violence and themes of chaos, have led some to say, as did Joe Morgenstern of the Wall Street Journal, that the message of the film marches through so much murk that the Joker's maniacal nihilism is overpowering and leaves one with little hope. I disagree. I don't disregard the ample evidence of grim material. There are plenty of gruesome murders, betrayals, and corruption throughout the film, but I think this murk is the outer shell and not the core of the film's message. First off, The Dark Knight is full of masks, used either as tools of deception or protection. Masks are used literally and figuratively by heroes, villains, even copycats and cops. In Gotham, everyone's got a face to hide. Like these masks, the look, feel, and themes of the film may seem dark on the surface, but beneath there's a hopeful core. A belief that heroic acts of honesty and self-sacrifice can shine through the mists of darkness, and that these traits are not reserved for superheroes alone. That the moral darkness of the film gravitates around the Joker, a self-proclaimed agent of chaos and certifiable wildcat, who was first introduced to us as a mask beneath a mask. His madness mixes humor, horror, obsession, and violence into an explosive personality. Ledger's performance is absolutely unforgettable, but casting Heath Ledger as the Joker certainly was a gamble for Nolan and casting director John Papsidera, given Ledger's past roles. How was a knight in shining armor or Casanova ever expected to inspire horror on the streets of Gotham? Conscious of it or not, critics and fans were comparing Ledger to his past roles and to Jack Nicholson's portrayal of the same character in Tim Burton's version of the film released in 1989. This is only to be expected since we interpret art and life in relation to our past experiences. These subconscious comparisons created low expectations with which Ledger easily overcomes. In Nicholson's portrayal, the Joker appears so clean-cut. Hair slicked back, spotlessly dressed in a purple suit, has a powdered face, and is armed with gag weapons ready to make you laugh till you drop. On the outside, Nicholson's Joker is all put together, but on the inside, he's a basket case. Ledger's Joker, on the other hand, is just the reverse. For one thing, he looks homeless. But deep down, beneath the scars, smudged eyeshadow, greasy hair, and tattered suit, lies a driving will to prove something. His objectives don't coincide with the typical villain profile, who usually crave power, a sense of pride, or money.
Man of my word.
He is a better person
money.
that wants to show
It's
how
about sending a message.
one looks presentable on the outside, but inside carries a frazzled mind. The other sports a disheveled outfit, but is armed with bent, subversive intelligence. The latter, in my opinion, being infinitely more terrifying. Nolan's production team, headed by Nathan Crowley, paints a grim and gritty impression of the Joker's appearance and the rest of the film as a whole. The real-life approach distinguishes The Dark Knight from the cartoony representations of the past, characterized by spandex wardrobes, exaggerated colors, staged kung fu fight scenes, and implausible props, plots, and settings. Nolan's physical setting suggests Gotham could be any big city, and the cold color schemes of blues, blacks, and grays contributes to a somber tone and suggests that the social order is only as fragile as a glass that continually shatters throughout time. Nolan has created a Gotham so convincing and unified in its hostile realism that if viewers get too caught up in the external appearance, they might miss the boat, literally. Critics and viewers that believe The Dark Knight has no redeeming power probably missed the boat scene when the moral core shines through. Up in a lofty tower, a symbol of their conflicting philosophies, the Joker and Batman watch a social experiment unfold below. The outcome will be determined by everyday people, and therein lies the factor that removes this film from the classic superhero movie realm. Whereas a typical superhero movie relies on supernatural brains and bronze to save the day, the boat scene is a democratization of power, where the central battle is left in completely human hands. The average citizens and convicted criminals encompass the good, the bad, and the ugly of society, despite every justification to act in one's own best interest. Both boats rely on mutual respect and restraint, even if it means putting their own lives in danger. And so, their faith in humanity, and ours, is restored as mutual respect overpowers the animalistic instinct for self-preservation. Batman won the battle, but in a larger sense lost the war because of Harvey Dent's fall from grace. In the winding up scenes of the film, the Dark Knight must face the fallen White Knight of Gotham. Commissioner Gordon, who stands in place of the audience throughout the film, watches in horror as Harvey Dent betrays his ideals in the name of self-indulging revenge. Gordon had worked with Harvey when Harvey still portrayed every qualification of a hero. He courageously stood up to criminals even when it put his life at risk, and turned himself in when the Joker demanded that Batman must take off his mask.
I am the Batman.
He did so in an effort to allow the real Batman, Bruce Wayne, another chance to continue the fight. It was a noble act of trust, but when that trust was betrayed, it cost him dearly, and grief pushed Harvey over the edge. When Harvey finally falls to his death, the last heroic act comes when Batman chooses to don the undeserved mask of the villain in order to preserve Gotham's newfound confidence in Harvey Dent. Harvey's image is preserved, but Batman must flee the scene as the Fall Man. Gordon sees behind both masks, as do we. For those who think The Dark Knight is too dark, they probably have mistaken the masks for the message itself. Would you place your fate in the hands of masked superheroes or two-faced civil servants? Or do you make your own?